So one of the first videos I ever just had a blast making was my reaction to the trailer for Earthrise. Not that I don't love what I do or don't enjoy making the videos, it's just that usually there's some part of it that's more work than it is fun. But not with that video. From creating the project folder to uploading the video, I had a smile on my face. So I'm excited to at long last do it once again. I want to preface this by saying that I think what I'm seeing with the trailer overall looks okay, but I'm tempering my expectations because I have been burned by the Transformers movies many times before. Let's say that there are bad signs around this and I don't trust it, but nothing with the trailer looks like a problem as of yet. Hopefully the movie will be good. Hasbro's viability as a company is kind of riding on it. Anyways, let's run through this. And in the first seconds, I already have questions. Are they screwing with us? They open the trailer with a shot of Mirage transforming where they cut away just before he finishes, and then at the end of the trailer, they run the exact same scene again, completely unchanged, so it ends at exactly the same point where you don't see what he looks like. Why? Why would you do that, you assholes? You taunt us with it at the start, and then you taunt us with it exactly the same way at the end like a bunch of preschoolers. Then I'm even pissed off by the text scroll that comes right after. Like, it's pretty obvious by the opening taglines that Unicron is going to be the big evil of the movie, and I'd really love for them to just quit it with Unicron. He was really cool and memorable in the '86 movie. He does not need to be something that every future iteration of the Transformers bends itself around like a mandrill. The Bumblebee movie worked because it was a simple plot. We didn't need the whole universe to be in peril to be invested in that story. Ah, man, just like the old days, me ranting with hundreds of words about mere seconds of a video. I missed this. Also, those taglines just kinda suck. For millions of years, our world has transformed. Oh yeah, just crowbar in that title drop, no matter how badly it fits and makes it sound like a knockoff toy box. For millions of years, our world have deformed to be the place of change. Okay, was that water CGI? Those two just got soaked, but they're dry as a bone. Really? You couldn't put some air cannons in the water to blast some real H2O up onto them? And then what are you pointing at, dude? Oh my god, there's a giant monkey in front of us! Yeah, she can see that, dude. She's not blind or deaf, and she most likely has a sense of touch, so the face full of water was probably also a dead giveaway. Okay, so here's one of my more interesting concerns. Why are there beast formers in this? In the Beast Wars show, they explain why. The planet is bathed in a radiation that damages electronics, but it can't make its way through organic matter, so the Cybertronians adopt biological pretender shells to protect themselves from the radiation. So if that's clearly not the case in this movie, what's the explanation for them to have beast modes here? Because it's not like they're useful as disguises. Even if they weren't giant, they don't look like real animals, and it's not like they were required to change alt mode when they came to the planet. They could have just kept their Cybertronian ones if they landed in, say, an era before everyone else, and there were no vehicles to scan. Plus, they could scan vehicles now. All of this is a roundabout way of asking, as this clearly isn't a disguise, why the fuck does Optimus have little patches of fur on his shoulders? Like, what is that doing for you, bro? And I gotta say that I am not feeling Ron Perlman's voice. It's not awful like he was in Power of the Primes, but it's horribly generic and boring. And I've been saying this from the beginning that Gary Chalk and the rest of the Beast Wars cast deserve the respect of being in the movie. And that notion was rejected by the lot of you saying stuff like, we need to give Ron Perlman a chance. But as far as I'm concerned, he burned his right to play the character with a career worst performance as him in the Prime Wars trilogy. And even if that weren't the case, you know what Ron Perlman already has? A decade-spanning Hollywood career where he's made tens of millions of dollars. Versus Gary Chalk, an amazing voice actor who brought many of our childhoods to life, who's far more than earned his due. He deserves the respect. He deserves the paycheck. Far more than Ron Perlman, who has the respect and who has the cash already if he's even remotely money savvy. Not to disrespect Ron Perlman. I love Ron Perlman. It's just that he's made it already. He's set. His legacy is secure. Let's give the treasure that is Gary Chalk and David Kay and Scott McNeil and Richard Newman and the rest of the cast their due. Anyways, oh my god, Optimus's arm cannon is worse than ever. I would take literally any other version of this shitty idea over this shittiest of ideas. Let me ask you, what was way cooler? The badass ion blaster from the Bumblebee movie, or this clusterfuck of parts that looks like Optimus strapped a half-disassembled washing machine to his arm? And then they gave Optimus a face again. No! Why? No one wants it! Leave the fucking mask on! And if he has to take it off, then why is Optimus always a fucking chud? Anytime his mask comes off in anything, his mouth is never where a mouth goes. And before anyone says, he's an alien, so of course his mouth doesn't go in a normal place. What about Drift? What about Crosshairs? What about Hound? What about Movie 1 Megatron? What about Movie 1 Starscream? What about Movie 1 Ratchet? What about Movie 1 anyone but Optimus Prime? In any series where Optimus's mask comes off, it's either somewhere between here or here, and it's never here. It just fluctuates somewhere in this area. Also, damn Prime, you got some thick-ass thighs. They're deeper front to back than your waist is wide. And god, your new colors are so boring. Bumblebee better not be done transforming here because his new head design looks shitty. Is he stealing this car? Why is he getting into a vehicle that he doesn't own? Why is Mirage kidnapping this human? Fun fact, I accidentally wrote Mirage as Jazz in the script, but that's a problem we'll be getting into in a bit. You may be like, he's not. It's just that Mirage has to get away and the guy's inside him. Don't like the way I phrased that, but okay. But here's the problem. In the next seconds of the trailer, we see this. And I'd say that this is awful for a myriad of reasons. 1. If he can transform to turn around because apparently Cybertronians are just the mechanical equivalent of John Carpenter's The Thing, he could have just transformed to dump the guy out while leaving. 2. If they can transform any which way they want, just reshaping their bodies however they will it, then why is anyone not a triple, quadruple, sextuple, infinity changer? Why do they just stop at turning their hands into guns? This is why I hate arm guns. If they can turn their arms into their weapons, then why can't they turn their faces into guns, or their hips, or their stomachs? You should be able to hack off all their limbs, and not only should they still be armed and dangerous, but they should be able to do stuff like reattaching their limbs at will by just forming the connectors they need for their limbs, or just making smaller new limbs out of their remaining mass. Why would any Cybertronian ever be incapable of defending itself if they can do stuff like this? And wouldn't it be nearly impossible to injure them because they can just move parts out of the way or force parts to reconnect when injured? The only reason it doesn't work like that is because the creators arbitrarily say that it doesn't because it would break the story. Well, they can only form the guns at the ends of their hands because it would be a problem if they could turn their head or some other part of their body into one. Well, despite the fact that they can apparently manipulate their body any way they want to, they can't rebridge severed connections from a gun wound is because it would mean that you could only kill them by stabbing them in the spark like a vampire because they'd all heal like Wolverine otherwise. Well, they can only have one alt mode at a time because we don't want everyone to turn into jets. Rather than the novel idea of, they have to use guns because they can't just turn anything into what they want. They can't heal because they can't just manipulate every inch of themselves. And they can't just reconfigure their bodies because they don't have control over that. It'd be a medical procedure to do it, like in the original show. But no, the rule of cool has to win out here, so the filmmakers can jingle some keys in front of the audience by making them do weird and wacky transformations. 3. Rather than having an ugly CGI blob, wouldn't this have been way cooler as a practical stunt? A real flip turn would have been a lot more badass and a lot more exciting than, here, have some CGI. And then we get yet another thing that pisses me off, as Mirage has once again stolen Hound's hologram powers. Mirage's thing was turning invisible. Is it really that the producers of the Transformers franchise are such idiots these days that they're like, well, his name's Mirage, so he must be the guy who uses illusions, right? Is it really that brain dead? And unless there's some scene cut out here where the hologram cars play a shell game, Mirage also stole Skywarp's teleportation powers to swap places with one of them because he should have still been the middle car that crashes into the water barricade. Also, Cop, why the hell are you tailgating them? You'd think that after the cars started making light constructs, you'd be like, okay, maybe I'm out of my depth here. Please, not another Transformers human who screams all the time. I had my fill of them in the first movie alone. Cheetor also has the tuft of fur for some reason. Why is Air blowing up the bridge that Optimus is running on? Also, Air seems a lot more powerful than she used to be. A lot of people are really liking RC's redesign, and I'm just not. I know I'm always railing for more human faces in the Transformers, but this is mixing the two designs in a weird way. I like most of it fine, but why are her lips so luscious and human when her face is so robotic otherwise? Like, either go all the way or stop just a little short of this. Like, not a ton, just slightly shorter than the porno lips. I will take this over the normal movie faces any day though, just saying it's a little weird. Not that it's not better than what we were getting before. Also, I really don't like her new paint job. The clear intention is that it's supposed to be a racing bodysuit, and I have to ask, why is a Cybertronian wearing human clothes? There's a weird sexualization thing going on here. And also, all I see is this. Though, maybe I have played too much of the Resident Evil remake to be fair. Also, missile crossing on her left side, then we cut to missile crossing from her left side to her right, directly into Wheeljack's open door. Methinks that Wheeljack is going to die in this movie right in this scene. Then we cut back to the shot that's clearly going to be uninterrupted in the actual movie. Bumblebee is stabbed here, but he's not going to die for like 4 reasons. 1, for some reason, he became the face of the franchise over Optimus. 2, this is pretending to be in continuity with the original movies for some reason, where he doesn't die after this point. 3, that doesn't look like Bumblebee's off-road mode yet, it looks like his normal one. And 4, this guy? Really? This guy? Who looks so painfully generic? He's the guy who's going to kill Bumblebee? And this is Scourge? Really? He's so boring looking. His alt mode is a truck out of hell. He should have like a scary appearance. Instead, he's generic robot.
From both your past and future.
Okay, they're implying that the Maximals are time travelers, so at least we know that much. More arm guns with Battletrap, who's not Battletrap, and I don't understand why the movies can't just either give new characters new names, or use the correct names of characters with the characters they belong to. It looks like the bad guys are going to have some skeletons on their side, so... Cheetor looks relatively swole, which... weird. Those look like Junkion colors behind Primal. Maybe it's Wheeljack, maybe he lives, who knows. Primal's robot mode looks generic, but okay. More skeletons. Why does it look like Battletrap is more the main villain than the main villain? And then a not funny joke and the scene that they didn't finish the first time. Look, as much snark and shit as I just gave this trailer, I do think that it looks like it might be a good Transformers movie. And it's still half a year out. So hopefully the designs get touched up a bit. They give Optimus his gun back, they render the scenes so that way he's got the faceplate on all the time, and stuff like that. I do have to profess a confusion as to why it's still half a year out though. I know that a lot of movies got disrupted, but it seems to have hit Rise of the Beasts extraordinarily hard. There are movies that entered production after this one and came out like half a year ago. And it's still half a year for this one. This is what's giving me pause about this movie. Is it so unsalvageable that they're desperately trying to fix it in post or what? The trailer looks fine. Stuff like killing off Wheeljack, if handled correctly, could be fine. They may have great explanations for the beast modes. Mirage could be fun, even if he's ripping off Hound's hologram powers and love of hanging out with humans, Skywarp's teleportation powers, Jazz's alt mode, and Prime Smokescreen's robot mode from what little we see of it. So he's a nightmarish conglomeration of characters that I wish I could actually see in the movie, especially Jazz, who we are getting robbed of, and he's played by that actor that everyone hates for some reason, even though the only thing I've ever seen him in is the opening scene from the second Suicide Squad movie. The villains could be interesting, the story could be fun. I just worry because a lot of what's around this movie suggests that there will be problems in it. And once more, I fucking beg you all, we need to put some respect on Gary Chalk's name. Can we please try to get the hashtag Justice for Gary Primal going? Just make this a movement. Gary deserves it, and so do we. We didn't just let this happen to Peter Cullen, but as soon as it's not G1, fuck the OG cast, am I right? This is not okay. Even if the change doesn't happen, the most tragic outcome would be that there's no outcry of support for the original cast. What's disappointing me the most is not that Hasbro isn't doing what they should be, but the fact that we just apparently, as a fandom, do not care about our people when it's not G1. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please, share this video with any friend you think may be